مساحة Hullin Daf, Ped Aleph Amud Aleph, 9 lines down. We had a question before, and we answered why does Hekadesh blood not need to be covered? Or gives another answer, if we did a different answer, Kula Rabbi Shimon, the entire Mishnah is according to Rabbi Shimon, who holds that they can be redeemed. Kadosh animals. Vishani Acha over here regarding the blood is different. Doesn't apply even though you could redeem it. The Amar Krab because Pasuk says Vishamach, Vishafach, Vichisai. You shall spill the blood and then cover it, which teaches you Misha Enim Mahusai Ala Shiricha Vichisoi. The only time that you cover the blood is when you're able to spill the blood, Yani slaughter, and then cover immediately. Yet Sazeh, but regarding to a Korban, Shema Husar Shivicha Pedia Vichisoi, or an animal for the upkeep of the Beit Mikdash as well. You need to spill it, redeem it, and then cover it. Therefore, not eligible. But actually, the Achina you arrive at this. I feel the Tamil Kushi was there. Even Mizbeach animals as well. Because the reason why it's excluded is because it needs to be direct for spilling to covering. It sounds like which is this one. We have to spill it and then scrape it, etc. Okay, more about different proof. Mark is Haya or off. Haya or off teaches you Mahya in a Kaddish off in English. Just like a Haya cannot be Mizbeach, because it can never be. So to a bird, therefore never kill them. Ima Haya Shein Bimina Kaddish off Shein Kaddish. 1 second, but why would you say that? Haya seemingly is an animal that will never have Kiddusha for Mizbeach because you can't bring it. But a bird as well. So I'll see that means maybe you will exclude this halacha from turtle doves and doves. Sheyesh Minan Kadosh, since there is a Kiddushat, then maybe they will never need to be covered. Where it says, La, that's not a good proof. Kihaya like a haya. Ma haya lo harata bears like a haya. There's no difference between whether or not it's carbonable. Af of the bird as well always needs to be covered. Amale Yaakov min al Rava. Yaakov, the min, Apikoros told Rava. You mentioned that a haya is considered like a behemah regarding to the signs of a kosher animal. Okay. Maybe I'll similarly say that the behemah is considered like a in the pasuk like a haya in regards to covering the blood, so it should be included as a behemah. The Gemara says, "Amalei," it says back to him, "Alecha ma'akra." The pasuk says in your question, "Allah al tishbehannu kamaim," and the ground shall spit it like water. Ma ma'im lo ba'iki. So after the high it's just like water is not to be covered, so too the blood of a behemah is not to be covered. Gemara says, "Well, that's the case. You have to be the ball. Let people who are to dip in the blood of a behemah." It's like water. When it says Mark Krab, as it says, Achmayan, word mikveh mine be held Torah. Meant specifically bodies of water. Hani in either not blood. When it says, okay, Vima Hani Milishar Skin Blood Kamai. Maybe that pasuk of mentioning bodies of water is excluding other type of liquids. They're not water. Avada, you get in mind about blood, which is considered water. Maybe it should be. Mar says, Tell me out activity, but by that pasuk, there's two exclusionary words. Mayim, Mayim, Uber Mayim. Spring of water and a pit of water. That excludes other liquids, even blood. Okay, maybe those both of them are teaching you other words or other types of liquids are not good. One is excluding flowing liquids. Some other types of word is excluding gathered liquids. And therefore blood is which is water should not be excluded where it says there are three words that are exclusionary. Mayan mayim, spring water, abor mayim, pit of water, mikveh mayim, gathering of water. It excludes blood. Okay, turn it on. I'll show you that teaches you that you can't dip in blood. That way pretty gross. Blood the Chaim taught. Ashay Yasud that you will trap. Any other Ashay Yasud, maybe I only know that Kisudam applies to animals you have to trap. It's didn't how you know that how you know that if an animal is already trapped or they are standardly trapped, like a gigon avazin with like geese and chickens, they don't already run away. I know you have to cover those. But Lamar, Tsayib, the Homakom, any type of trapped. Im Gain, that's the case. Mat Lamar should did why I mentioned you have to trap it. Limited Radech teaches you a hidush, like a proper behavior. That what don't eat meat unless you prepare it. Meaning you should only consume meat if you have it already. Don't buy it. It's expensive. Now I'm going to bring a little bit of God on that. Number nine. Ki ahiv Hashem Elokecha gevulecha. Hashem will expand the boundaries. And you'll say, I want meat, you can slaughter, etc. That is again, Torah teaches you proper behavior. One person should not eat meat unless he has a specific desire for it. We shouldn't have it regularly. They see this the Chacham over here saw what we were doing nowadays. Yeah, holy God, I mean, I should be maybe a person should think he could buy meat from the market and eat it. Tell the marvel about them, you should slaughter your own animals. Yeah, holy is back you should slaughter all your animals. A quotes or entire thing. Therefore, يعني if only a single animal, that's the whole flock. تمنمر مي بكارخا from your flock. Below the cobra don't slaughter your entire flock. Misonecha v'chol zonecha same thing. Mikana brothers that I receive from here. Mish yesh lo money over $100. Yikach lefasol letil ara go buy for his pot some vegetables. Don't buy something expensive. Asara manev he has only $10,000. Yikach lefasol letil dagim buy some fish. You can pay a little more. Habeshi manev he has 50. Yikach lefasol letil basar then you can buy some meat. Me'amar I have 100. Yishvatu kol you can cook whatever you want. Meaning you have to just yeah you have to buy within your means. Ve'enach emat. And for the other people, what should they eat? Meaning, how do we know what they should eat? When should they eat this stuff that he says to eat it? Me'erev Shabbat to Shabbat, meaning from one Shabbat to the next. Amarav. So we should pay attention to them and eat on a modest budget. Rav was from a very wealthy family, about kagon anu, but like us, mishi yesh lo peruta b'torch kizuy yasenim l'chavani, a person who has even a peruta should offer it to pay for something. Meaning, they were wealthy and well off and healthy, and therefore they could push off proper nutrition. But we have to prioritize our nutrition. Mar nachman, diwan anu lo v'dim l'vachnin. It's like people like us who are weak need to even borrow money in order to buy good food and eat it. Okay, kibasim l'lu so it says, let your lambs be your clothing. Teaches you, Miguez kivasim yam abushech, buy lambs, so you have free will. Umahers the flocks will be the exchange with the field. The person should sell his real estate to buy flocks. They don't sell your flocks to buy your field. And let your the milks of your goat be enough. Person should be able to get enough sustenance from the milk of his goats from in his house. You don't have to solar or eat them, but use them as income. The food, the bread of your house. Your food should come before the food of your household. You need to specifically sustain yourself to support your family. Life for your children. Ladies, give life to your youth. Teach you the what? Don't let his child be spoiled by with meat and wine. Teach him life lessons. How to say shit, actually, something that a person who wants to become wealthy should deal with small animals like sheep and goats. They breed quickly. אמר חסדה, מה לכתיב עשרות עיניך, what does that pasuk mean? שמעשרות את בעליהן, small flocks, small animals, make their animals wealthy. אמר נחם, כי כסת החשינו לה כסת הפושעים, a person should rather drink a cup prepared by sorcerers than out of lukewarm water, because lukewarm water can be dangerous, even though sorcerers might be worse, might be better. But anyway, they declared it applies to warm water in a metal utensil. Why? Although the clay is in the not an earthen utensil, there's no problem with bacteria. Even metal, the person that put herbs. The herbs inside, you don't have a problem of bacteria. Even if you not put herbs, let's not boil no problem. From here, the idea of back then they even knew that if you could sterilize something by cooking it. A person's father lets him a lot of money as inheritance and he wants to lose it. You buy beautiful clothing. They use fancy utensils, hire workers and don't supervise them. The Bosch was linen clothing. These are first to Roman linen, which is expensive, but it wears out quickly to replace it. Glass utensils, white glass, which is expensive and can crack. Refers to hiring workers don't supervise. Refers to drivers of oxen. They're not because they will, without being supervised, they'll just waste time. דרש רב אבירה. זמין אמר לה משמעית רב עמי. זמין אמר לה משמעית רב אסי. מה דתיב הזמין? טוב איש חונן ומבד וחכד והרב במשפט. Pasuk says, good is the man who is gracious and he lends, and he does his affairs with justice. What does that mean? A person should always eat and drink less than what he can afford. And he should honor his wife and children, give them more than he's comfortable giving. Not that you should go into debt, but meaning a person should prioritize his wife and kids over himself. Should have told you to mute it if if your wife is next to you. Shehen Tiluyin bo, because it depended on him. Vehu telu b'mi she'amar olam, and he's dependent on Hashem. Therefore, if since he is showing Hashem that he's giving to his wife and kids, Hashem will give him more panasah. We should all take that. A person is careful with his wife's honor. The in and his wife and children, Hashem will bless them twofold and more. Hashem Pasuk says in Bereshit, Abraham was blessed because he treated Sarah well. Okay. דרש רב אבירה פתחת אש ודותה רבינה gave the halacha. Hashuhed le'oleh Shabbat. Someone slaughters a haya or bird for a sick person on Shabbat. So now, I'm not allowed to slaughter on Shabbat, and if I do, I'm not allowed to cover the blood because it's a sword. But if I'm slaughtering beheter, a sick person here, I want to slaughter for him. I have a chasod, according to me, to cover the blood. I'm not the one second. Ishtava ka'amar. That's something horrendous. You can't say that. You should take away his speaking power from him. Then says to be samer, you can't slaughter a kohen, and if you do slaughter, you can't cover it. Mikava Chomer, and we learn from Mikava Chomer. Umar Mila Shabbat. Now regarding Brimila, which which overrides Shabbat, and Svekad or Habitab, you can't do Brimila on a Safek and Yom Tov, right? If you have a Safek child born Ben Shvat the week prior, you can't do Brimila on Shabbat next week. It's Safek. So Kisui Adam Chain, the blood covering the blood, which definitely does not override Shabbat ever. And Din Chain Svekad. Now that definitely cannot override a safek on Yom Tov. Therefore, you cannot use a koi. You can't slaughter. You can't cover the blood of a koi on Shabbat or Yom Tov rather. It says him, "Tikiyat shofar beglim tochiach." I'll bring you a proof of it. Blowing shofar in outside the Beit Hamikdash will prove to you your kavach chomer is not correct. She'en b'da'ad or Shabbat, even on definitely in Rosh Hashanah, you do not override Shabbat for outside of the Beit Hamikdash. Usveka, but on safek, doch Yom Tov would override Yom Tov even outside the Beit Hamikdash. So to regard the blood, even though it definitively will not override Shabbat, but maybe Safek would override Yom Tov. Why says no? Heshir Bilazar Akafa B'Rebi Teshuvah is no. Mala Lemila Shekein Ina No Heker B'Lele Yamin Tovim. Milah did not apply to Yom Tov nights. Only during the day. Tomorrow B'Chazushin Nahei B'Lele Yamin Tovim. You can't bring a proof from covering the blood, which applies day and night. Not a good proof. This reverses Kal one of the things that Rabbi Hiya said I don't have no answer for. This rabbi brought an answer. We see from here. Covering the blood which does not override the Shabbat even if it's definite. Now what does that mean? It's definite. Seemingly, you can never have a definite covering the blood on Shabbat. Lav must be to my case. If you slaughter for a sick person on Shabbat, and we see from here, it doesn't override it. So Ravina seemingly made a mistake when he said you're allowed to do it. The Gemara says, no, maybe some case, if you were all there, you slaughtered on purpose on Shabbat. But maybe a sick person, maybe mutar. The Gemara says, you know, came out a case of milah. But milah is done a case ma milah, but milah was done with heter, was allowed. So to the case also where you were allowed to slaughter. And so we see it wasn't allowed, and therefore Ravina made a mistake. He said before that we're putting the proof from the lungs shofar outside. Shofar on will not override Shabbat inside, but definitely, but Safek will override Yom Tov. My Safek was the case of Safek on Yom Tov. Ili Safek on Yom Tov, you're not sure if it's weekday or Yom Tov, and you still let it do it on Yom Tov. Gemara says, Hashtag Vaday Yom Tov Vadahya. If you're saying it Shofar overrides Yom Tov in general, we're allowed to do it in Rosh Hashanah. Safek Yom Tov so what are you worried about if it's possible Yom Tov? Gemara says, no. Ella Safek Isha. It's not a case where it's a possible man or woman. Now, you're allowed to blow for a man when it's definitely Yom Tov. But here we're not sure if he's a man or woman. You're allowed to do it. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yosef Tamani, we can prove for him. Amar Isha Vadeit Nami Taka. Here Yosef holds that you're allowed to blow shofar even for a woman. Only a woman. Tanur says, Bnei Yisrael Somchin V'lo Benot Yisrael Simchot. That price says that men can lean on the korban animals for korban, and the daughter women don't. Rabbi Yosef Rishimon Namrim Nashim Simchot Rishut. Women also have the option. So Rabbi Yosef, we see from here that a woman has a rights. She has the ability to do simicha. She has the ability to lean on her animal. Also, she has the ability to receive and have the ability for shofar for her. Therefore, a person who is possible man, possible woman also can blow shofar. And therefore, it does not prove from there that regarding kisu adam if it's allowed to be if it's safek. And Hamim hold that no, a woman cannot do leaning, a woman cannot do shofar, and therefore a person is safek man, safek woman proves that if it's even in safek, can override Yom Tov. Mar Avinu means the line that coming around Itle Bircha. Even the Ramim there's a knockout. Matki Shavar because Shofar Shekin by the Ado Hay Shabbat Mikdash. Its definite requirement overrides Shabbat in the Bet Mikdash. Right, so we said Shabbat out of Bet Mikdash we don't do like nowadays, but inside does. Tomorrow Kisur regarding blood, let the cloud. There is no such thing as Kisur Dam at all. And we see Shofar is not a proof. They allow to cover the blood in the case of a koi safek on Yom Tov. Next, Heshiva Zara Kafar Rabbi, he answered, Mali Mil Shekin Enu Heged Bleilim Tivim. We said, oh, but yeah, Hebrew. He said, but Milah is different because you don't do the night Yom Tov. The Gemara says, Bleilim Tivim Hud Lo Nahage B'Shar Le Nahage. I mean, Milah is only Milah during Yom Tov night you can't do, but we do it in other nights. No, we never do bring Milah night time. The Gemara says, Ella, he says as follows: Mali Milah Shekin Enu Heged Bleilim Tivim. Just like Milah never applies to night like it does during the day. Tomar Bechezosh Heged Bleilim Tivim. You can't compare that to blood, which does apply to night or day, and therefore you cannot compare it to Brila. Rabbi Abban, that's what Rabbi Abban said. The Hamad ibn Shamar Rabbi Yahya in Tashbah, he said this is something that we don't have an answer for. And he gave an answer.